wife Gemma. We want to share a small testimony about generosity and giving and how it has impacted our lives.
Prior to becoming a born-again Christian, I barely knew about giving, and if ever I gave, I was not faithful and consistent. But my personal relationship with Jesus Christ and the studying of His Word gave me a new perspective on generosity. I learned that giving is an act of worship and obedience unto God. As I grew in my walk with the Lord, I also realized that it is a privilege to give to God and His Word. God has given everyone the opportunity to give. Remember the widow's mite? Out of her nothingness, she gave all. She seized the moment. This really challenged my faith and love for God. I remember my early days in the US as a young, struggling single mom living from paycheck to paycheck. Though money was tight and at times would have the same $1 in my pocket for weeks, I made sure God came first in everything. As soon as I got paid, I gave my tithes and offering. And sure enough, as Malachi 3:10 promised and says, my daughter and I had everything we needed. Moreover, I have also learned to live within my means and hold on to what I have loosely. It freed me from the grip that money had on me. God has sustained us over and beyond our expectations. But the greater blessing we received is to witness the changed lives God has touched through the ministry.
I was raised by a Christian single mother who taught me the concept of tithing at a very young age. When I came to faith, it was only natural for me to continue the practice. But when I started to question my motive, I went on a tithe strike. I refused to give my tithe because I felt I was treating tithe as an investment. I give to God and He blesses me. So I decided not to tithe until I settled the matter in my heart. I put in a tape I had in my car titled, "The Solution No One Wants to Talk About." It was for one of the church's previous pastors, and it was about tithing. How tithing was an act of worship, an act of obedience, an act of faith, an act of trust in God. But also that God will pour a blessing upon you if you obey Him. I took that sermon to heart, and I couldn't wait to get my tithe. Throughout the whole drive, the 90-minute drive became like a 3.5-hour drive, just meditating on what I had heard. And I was so happy to go to church that Sunday and just present my tithe as an act of worship. And it really freed me to know that I could just serve God with everything and expect nothing in return. In growing in generosity, God did pour out a blessing. I met and married a very generous woman.
I encourage everyone. It's more of like a challenge. Do not be afraid to ask God for guidance for radical giving. The giving of your life and your resources. I truly consider myself privileged to serve our mighty God.